the river that sounded like whispering voices. They say Banff has a way of holding on to secrets, quiet ones, the kind that hide between the pines and linger in the mountain air. But in the summer of 2006, there was a secret so strange, so eerily gentle, that it pulled travelers from all over the world to listen. Not to look, to listen, to a river that whispered like a human voice. It began with a pair of hikers, Maya and Lucas, who reached the riverbank just as the sun dipped behind the Canadian Rockies. The world was painted in deep orange and violet, shadows stretching long and soft across the water. They paused, tired but content, and then they heard it. A sound, thin, wavering, almost tender, rising from the currents like a breath on the wind. Maya froze first. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Lucas did too. Only, he couldn't tell what he'd heard. It wasn't the rush of water. It wasn't the groan of shifting ice. It wasn't wind curling through the trees. It was something layered, faint murmurs overlapping like several voices all speaking at once, drifting just below the edge of sense. They leaned closer. The river swelled, pulled, swirled, and with every movement the whispering grew clearer. Not words, but the shape of words. Emotion without meaning. Urgency without language. They backed away slowly. The next evening, more tourists gathered, drawn by rumor and curiosity. Cameras ready, flashlights off, waiting. And again, at the moment the sun touched the horizon, the river began to speak. Some said it sounded like pleading, others like chanting. A few insisted they heard their own names buried in the murmurs. No one ever agreed on what the voices said, but everyone agreed they sounded alive. Over the following days, scientists visited the river too. They took recordings, mapped pressure pockets in the riverbed, studied how warm glacial melt met colder undercurrents. They found unusual chambers beneath the water's surface, stone hollows shaped in a way that funneled air through the currents, twisting motion into resonance. Perfectly natural, perfectly explainable. Yet, not one scientist could explain why the voices only appeared at sunset, or why the sound felt so personal, so directed, as if the river wasn't just echoing nature, but echoing memory. Some brave souls returned alone at dusk, just to sit in the soft glow of fading light and hear it again. And those people all said the same thing. The river didn't feel haunted, it felt aware. Maybe that's why the legend remains, not because the sound was eerie, but because it made everyone who heard it feel seen, heard, somehow understood, even if only for a moment. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.